Hey everybody, welcome back to the Black Link Experience. It's your girl Marva B. Subscribe, like, and share. Leave your comments below because your opinion does matter and we are here for you guys. Let's talk about it in the chat. So listen, before we get into TGIF, let's talk about Diddy really quick because the next video we will talk more about him. But Tisa Tells, man, shout out to her. Like, she's the GOAT. And she's my mentor from afar. She just don't know. But listen, Tisa came up with a video. Well, we saw him in LA, right? So he was in LA for a day and a half or whatever, supposed to be taking care of business. Some thought maybe he had to speak with the feds a little bit, a little bit more questioning. But it turns out, possibly, allegedly, that he is meeting up with alleged witnesses, and it could be witness tampering. We don't know, but she played this video right here that you're seeing, and it looks like Brendan the Mule. Allegedly, this is all alleged. It looks like him, and what's so significant about this is that Brendan made a deal with the feds, and he is not supposed to be talking to Diddy or being around Diddy, but Diddy's like, we do what we want to do. We still outside, right? And so it looks like Brendan. We don't know, but it remains to be seen. But go Tisa, like, we're going to talk about that too. And then the other thing is the other lawsuit that came out yesterday, day before yesterday, on Diddy, him wanting the boyfriend to go down on him. Like, what? Diddy, what? Like, you wonder why things are happening the way they are. Anyway, that's Diddy. We'll talk about him tomorrow. TGIF. So first of all, let me just put it out here. And now shout out to my boy Mims. Like, that's my dog. Like, I love his show. Shout out to him. He put on an amazing production last night. Loved his show last night. And I think for me, Sean was the highlight because he was bringing the heat, So anyway, let's talk about it. I am very sad that TGIF went away. The reason being is that I watched the show. I was a fan of the show, and I was really hoping that it didn't get canceled. I knew that, they were taking a break, gonna go take vacations, and all this was the word. But then ultimately, the show was canceled, unfortunately. And the reason that it makes me really sad is because these are black folks with jobs making some nice money, right? And to have them lose their jobs like this is just heart-wrenching because it's already hard for us out here. And when there's opportunity made for black folks, then why is it that we have to tear that down on our own by bickering behind the scenes and not getting along? And that's what it looked like to me. That's how it feels to me. First of all, I want to start with Claudia. You know that she had an interview with Carlos King. It was really good. Everybody always comes down so hard on Claudia for whether it's their experience they had with her or whether they feel like she's doing somebody wrong or whatever the case may be. They really come down hard on Claudia. And let me tell you, and they call her messy or whatever, but let me tell you this. I tip my hat to Claudia because Claudia has opened doors for black people and gave them opportunities to get their bag, and not just pennies, right? They're getting their coin, they're getting a bag. And she continued to make opportunities for our black people. And I've always just wanted to do that, right? I always wanted to be in a position where I could give our people an opportunity that if I come up, they get to come up with me, right? But then when we come up, we don't want to tear that down. And so that's what I tip my hat to Claudia for, is for freely giving black folks opportunity to work and to make a good coin, like a decent coin, like Mim said, a life-changing coin at that, right? And so whatever Claudia does, however messy she is, like, we all got a little messy in us, right? She still gave opportunity. Now, Claudia is not going to be without, and I also respect her for this. She's not going to be without work because she's a hustler. That girl will go work and she will go get a coin. People say, yeah, but she always get fired from the jobs. I don't care. The girl is a hustler and she goes and gets her coin. Kudos to her for that. going to get an honest coin and hustling the way she do. She's a boss. And so we got to give that to her. We can't take that from her. No matter how messy you think she is or whatever, she's a boss. What I'm interested in is going back to TGIF and looking at the episode where Lunel was on there, and Sean last night on Mem said you could see her typing, and as soon as she was typing, like she was typing and feeding Lunel to bring up Al's ex-wife, which was never supposed to be talked about. And so I have to go back and look at that and see if that's really it, but he said you can see it plain as day. And for that is messy. Like, you should, if it shouldn't be talked about. But you know, a lot of that is to get clicks and views for TGIF, and they was bringing in numbers. When Funky Dineva came, like, shout out to Funky, because I follow him, I watch him, I think he's funny. I mess with Funky Dineva, okay? But that's where they were bringing in numbers. He brought in a lot of people when he came, right? But he has a way with himself and how he presents himself in front of the camera, and it worked well. So at the point where he left the show, he said that he didn't get fired, that they just couldn't pay him what he was asking for. And for me, I think they could have made some arrangements and moved some things around. I'm like, Sean, let's take some of the a producer or two away, because you still can function well without them. They're making all this money, or cut their pay, or do something to keep that show going, because of the way that people love the show. So to sum it up about Claudia and Funky Dineva, when Funky Dineva left, like, in the back of my mind, I was like, something ain't right. Like, is he into it with somebody? Like, did something happen? But then I let it go, right? Because they said that he's leaving in good standing. All is well. Next thing I know, him and Claudia are into it. Again, she's at the base of this argument about whatever, right? That's Claudia for me. Like, I have a respect for her, for the things that she do for the community, for our community, our culture. It gets like people are eating, and that speaks volumes. Like, yeah, if she's messy, so what? We all are messy. Anyway, moving right along. Now for Al, like, I liked them all. So for Al, I have a high regard for Al. Like, I have a respect for him. He's very reserved. He's not gonna be that one that come out and show his butt. Made me say, whoa, Al, is when he called Funky Dineva, and Funky was trying to tell him, look, hold on, Al, like, I'm live. And he was like, I don't give a you know what. And he kept venting and telling him to go watch what happened. So when I saw the roast from the beginning to the end, and you could see on his face that some things felt uncomfortable, but at the end of it, he was like, I like that, you know. And it didn't seem like it was all bad, like he was really strongly offended, like he was. Here's my thing about the roast. Why are we roasting against one another on a show that we work together for? Because eventually it's going to end up like this. Who created that? Because that should have never came into play. It should have never been in circulation. The roasting, like, let that go. Don't do that. That's me though. People like that. People like roasting and all that mess. But for me, I'm just like, if you roasting, don't roast on your co-workers that you sit on the show with every week or whatever. And so, yeah, it was going to cause problems, and it did exactly that. It caused the issues. But for Al, I know that he came out and he was talking a little bit. He was allowing his people to ask questions, and one of the questions was, are you going to go back to TGIF? And he was like, I hope so. Like, that would be really awesome if we could do that. So at that time, it didn't seem like he knew that the show was canceled, that if they would have him back, he would absolutely go back. So just shout out to Al, and we wish him the best. Al said that he's out of the country and that he has a possible blood clot. That was a few days ago, but they were looking at it. He couldn't travel or nothing, so he was kind of stuck. Prayers up for him. I hope all is well with him so he can go on and do his business and continue to get his bag as well. It's all about the bag, y'all. It's all about being able to eat and provide for yourself and your family. And then for Armand Wiggins, like Armand said, you know, and I don't think it was the roast that canceled the entire show at all. By no means. I don't think that. I'm like Armand, like I would have to agree with him. If it was about the roast and I'm the newest person here, why not just fire me? Why we're firing everybody that got anything to do with TGIF, right? Why are we not, why not just me? So I agreed with that. Now, do I think Claudia gave Armand things to say to boost that roast, or did Claudia have anything to do with it? I don't know. I just know that he said he wrote it down so he wouldn't forget, and he let him have it. And then the next thing we know, the whole entire show is canceled. No, but I don't think, again, that it's for the roast. What I thought should have happened, and this is just me, in my opinion, I thought when Funky left, since Funky's gonna leave and go do his thing and spread his wings and fly, why don't we just keep it at Claudia and Al and just have guests? Just have guests to come. Now, some guests are gonna require a one-time payment to be a guest on the show, but you're still gonna save money because you're not having to do this whole salary thing, right? I don't know. But I thought that if they left just Claudia and Al on the show and just have guests, that would have worked out too, because I'm not sure who could come. I wasn't sure who could come behind Funky and do what Funky did for the show. Did Armand Wiggins do that? I mean, I don't know. But then Sean comes out and say that, or the word is that Al and Claudia don't even get along. Like they are behind the scenes bickering, and he's saying that Armand and Claudia needs to come out and tell the truth. So that's my take on, I don't have really an opinion on Armand. I hadn't been following him. I'm following him now, so I don't really know much about him, but I wish him the best as well. They're all going to continue to eat, especially that Claudia. She going to go get hers. Anyway, you guys, that's my opinion. Let's talk about it in the chat. What do you think about the whole TGIF? Let me know your comments. Let me know what you're thinking and what your opinions are. You guys, we're going to go now. This is the Black Link Experience, and I am your girl, Marva B.